You guys excited for this? This is going to be great. It's about time we were able to finish production, you know. Having all those accents, everything was pretty costly, set us back some time. But feeling pretty good about this. I think we have a hit on our hands here. Being able to give the good people the news, get this going. I mean, you guys got what feels more like oven lights than actual lighting, but I mean, I guess we needed to make little cuts here and there. I mean, at least we have good camp. You guys do realize that the camcorder is actually on right now, right? Like, you're recording as we're speaking. You stop nodding your head, turn off the camera. Edit this out, edit this out. Hi, I'm Justin Nusanker, and this is Not Real News. Today's leading story for tonight is rich people are actually sustaining themselves off the tears of the poor. Shocking, I know, but wait till you hear what happens next. We have startling insider information as to exactly why rich people are consuming poor people's tears in order to live longer, happier lives while the rest of us are suffering. Joining us via satellite, we have Dr. Northwest, who can go ahead and explain all this information for us. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Northwest.
No relation.
How exactly do rich people sustain themselves off poor people's tears? It seems a little bit odd and far-fetched.
Well, you see, you are of course familiar with the fact that the diet of the poor is not one that is what we would call nutrient-rich. They eat a lot of frozen foods, things like your lean cuisines, your Stofers, your hungry man's dinners. And these foods, while not packed full of things that will actually nourish you, are packed full of a number of chemicals that act as a kind of embalming agent that prolongs the lives of rich people such as the famous Donald Trump. But these can only be processed through the human body in the form of such things as tears. And of course, no one is going to go and ingest the excrement of the poor. That would simply be insane and unsanitary, and so the tears are the best option.
So who exactly discovered that poor people's tears have such properties, and how long have they known about this?
That would be the company which I am part of the research division of, Megacorp, which has been using this technique for approximately 50 years. They discovered it, and many companies since have made use of it, and I believe you will see that the results are quite exemplary, if I do say so myself.
Doesn't that seem just the least bit unethical to you?
Doesn't what seem unethical? I'm afraid I don't understand the question.
I mean, taking poor people's tears and giving it to the rich to go ahead and allow them to be happy, healthy, and live longer lives, while poor people already have to struggle enough as it is. Is that not unethical?
I believe it would be unethical for them to hoard those sweet, sweet, life-giving tears for themselves. It simply wouldn't be in the spirit of capitalism, and I would say that, sir, would be unethical.
Fine. But then why bring such information to light now, after all these years?
You were speaking earlier about ethics. Well, those corporations we've been talking about have done something very unethical, which they like to refer to as cutting out the middleman, and have taken the involvement of research divisions such as my noble team out of the picture. I find this to be highly unethical for the reason that for so long we have been the ones harvesting the tears of the poor, and now they think, oh, well, surely they can do it on their own, with their own workers, in their own factories, in their own torture chamber, in their own factories.
Honestly, I find this information very hard to take in, and it still seems very far-fetched from the explanation you've given so far. I mean, what exactly are your credentials as a member of the scientific community? You're not even wearing a lab coat or even in a lab.
I resent that implication, and the overgeneralization and stereotype that all scientists are stuffy men in lab coats. We don't simply wear uniforms with numbers and badges on them. We're not the poor.
So, I mean, why can't rich people sustain themselves off their own tears?
Right. Well, you see, the rich sustain themselves on a diet of what we in the scientific community call food. And food has the aforementioned nutrients and not the aforementioned potentially hazardous chemicals that need to be processed in the bodies of the poor. And so there's nothing to be gained by ingesting or harvesting the tears of the wealthy. And besides, they're all lawyered up and they're harder to tie down. Also, obviously, the tears of the wealthy are far, far too bitter for human consumption.
Well, this has certainly been an eye-opening experience. I want to go ahead and thank you for joining us, Dr. Northwest.
No relation, but yes.
And we hope to hear more from you soon.
I won't be in the public eye for a good while. Not with all of those crazy lawsuits.
You've heard it here first on Not Real News. Rich people sustain themselves off the tears of the poor to go ahead and live longer, happier lives. I'm Justin Nusanker with Not Real News, and you have a nice night. Also, if you have any kind of headline news, make sure to go ahead and share it with us in the comments below, or contact us via email that's also in the description, because our news team sure as hell isn't going to go out and find any news stories. And also don't forget to go ahead and click that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned. We have plenty of more news to go ahead and share with you, so stay tuned. We're done? Good? I mean, seriously, guys, I feel like I'm baking in an oven here. We really couldn't spring for better lights than this? I mean, even like makeup, I got blemishes on here. We couldn't do anything. Maybe even just editing. We don't have much of an editing team. Why the hell did we even start all this stuff if we're so underfunded? Of course the money will come. I'm on this thing, but that's besides the point. I mean, it's a matter of quality. Do you guys not care about what we're doing here? I mean, come on, look at... And you're still recording. Are you serious? We're done. End it. Is it really that hard to work a camera?